Hey there, welcome back to the Boss Podcast, where we like to hear bridal owner success stories. I'm Mindy, your host, and in the studio today is Abby in Canada, and I'm going to let her introduce herself to you with her full name, her store name, and where she's located, so you guys can go find her on Instagram because you're going to love hearing her story. So, Abby, tell us more about you.
Yeah, so my name's Abby Osterer, and I've owned some version of a bridal store since 2019. But right now, I own two different stores. I own an off-the-rack store called Never Knew I Needed, and then I own a made-to-order store called Always New.
I love it. And what part of Canada are you in?
We're in Ottawa, Ontario, which, yeah, it's a nice store. It's about a city of about 1 million.
Wow. Okay. And are you from Ottawa?
I am, yeah.
You grew up there? Okay. Now tell me a little bit more about when you said I've owned some kind of a bridal store. I don't think I know about this. So was it not this store before?
No, it started very small. It started in 2019 as making those like bachelorette shirts and like veils and selling jewelry out of my apartment. And then I moved into a little office because it was COVID and I was getting lonely. And then we moved again, and I was again just selling like little accessories and gifts. And we decided to do a consignment dress pop-up for our previous brides for 1 week. And I was like, I kind of like this. So we did another pop-up in 2023 for 6 months. And then we decided that off the rack was just going to be our journey. And in mid 2023, we hit the ground running with our off the rack location. And then in 2025, we opened up our made to order.
So that's a pretty explosive journey. That is fast and furious to go to two locations in such a short amount of time. I'm curious, are you married, kids, or anything like that? Or are you able to give all of your time and effort to this business?
I'm married, but he is a silent worker. Yeah, he is here. He is selling behind the scenes. He still has a full-time job, but we don't have kids, so we were allowed to make our stores our babies.
Yeah, I was just going to say you had the capacity, the bandwidth to do this.
Exactly. I don't think I could have done it right now and be a mom.
Yeah, it's very hard to do both. And not to say that might never happen. It just means right now it is hard to get to that season. Okay, so let's talk about the journey of when you were selling those first couple pop-ups. I was just gonna say, were you kind of like, I actually love sales. It sounds like you've always been good at sales. Like,
Yeah.
what even gave you the idea to sell a wedding dress on a weekend, a pop-up?
Honestly, it was a different bridal shop that reached out and said, "Hey, I have these old samples. Have you ever considered selling them? Like selling off the rack dresses?" Because we were becoming a little bit more popular for our accessories and for like a budget friendly take on weddings. And I said, that's not a bad idea. But we made more in that 1 week selling consignment than we had the entire month. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this. And that's when we kind of like scrapped our offices and turned our little 800 square foot room into a bridal showroom and change room.
And where'd you get your dresses for that?
I emailed and called all our old brides who had bought accessories and said, "Hey, do you want to sell your wedding dress through us?" And then I already had some relationships with other boutiques from wholesaling accessories to them. So I sent them a message and said, "Hey, do you want for me to try to sell your samples? And that way you get some more space on your showroom, and I have a new avenue for revenue."
That's amazing. So is your model still that way for your off the rack store where you do consignment, or is it
A
just
little bit.
shop?
A
Okay.
little bit. We don't take from individual brides anymore. We only do not worn to the altar dresses. So we primarily work with other boutiques, which is really cool because we get to support other stores and have a good relationship with them. And we have a lower price point. So when their bride isn't, it's not really vibing with theirs, they send them to us, and kind of both of us benefit.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
Okay, so it seems like you're loving it. You're loving working with brides, and you have grown a little team under your belt in that short amount of time. So what does your team look like today?
Right now, I am still in here every day, but I want to be. And
Yeah.
then I have my sister actually manages the two locations, which is really special.
Okay, so do you just bounce back and forth between both of them?
Exactly.
Try to do it
Last year,
opposite?
yeah, last year, actually after your employee training, we both kind of sat down. We were both kind of doing half a job, and we said, in the next 5 years, what do we each want to be doing? not what we have to do. What do we want to do? And I was like, we're going to base our staffing from the future on of what you and I want to do. And so my background is in marketing. And so I took on the marketing and strategy role, which that's what I love to do. And she took on day to day, like basically office manager and staff.
Right.
Yeah. So we have
Love
part-time
to do.
girls. We have one full-time stylist, then part-time girls who rotate, and then a receptionist and some seamstresses.
Oh, so you guys do alterations as well.
Yes, we do.
Is that something different for your store in your area?
Yes, we are one of the only ones.
Okay. And
Yes.
that's like going well for you. You enjoy it.
Yes,
Okay.
I do. We've
What?
structured it in a way that I really enjoy. All of our seamstresses are partners. They sew in their own studios, and they just meet brides in our space.
Okay. And I was just gonna say, what were you doing before you started your own little business?
I actually started while I was still in university. So I had
Okay.
one job I had an internship for 6 months.
Okay. You're
And
just like, did you ever feel like since you were little that you were an entrepreneur? Like, I mean, did you know that about yourself? Because if you've only had one job before you started a business, that's pretty entrepreneurial.
yes, I always kind of I did a side hustle. I did makeup for a while. I was a party princess. Like I just loved anything where I could make my own schedule. Um, and
You were a party princess?
yeah, I'm Cinderella at like a local store. Yeah. So I loved to side hustle.
I love
So
that.
I just kind of was I got one of those crickets, like those like crafting machines, and I Googled what sells best with Cricut. And the first thing was weddings. I was like, I think I can do that. And
And then
that's how it started.
and you just started promoting yourself around campus.
Yes, I promoted myself around campus. I was actually going to a university that was 4 hours away from where I started my business in Ottawa. I thought I could finish the rest of my degree online, and they pulled the classes. So I would run my business from Tuesday to Sunday, hop on a 4 hour train, go to my 2 classes, go back for a year.
Did you pay for housing in both places?
Nope. I had my house already with my husband. I was really thinking I could finish online. And luckily, my sister was also doing her schooling in the same city. So I would sleep on her couch, go to class, right after class, start working on the business again.
Wow, what a
Yeah.
hustle.
Yeah.
That is very respectable.
Yeah.
I can envision those years being hard, but also rewarding because you could see
Yeah.
the fruit of what you're building. So your husband has a different job, but does help with the business, but
Yes.
has a different full-time job.
Mhm.
Okay. And like, do you feel one arm of the business is stronger than the other for the future? Do you think that brides are going in the direction of off the rack, or do you feel like they're equally shopping both ways?
I think they're equally shopping both ways. I think they're a completely different bride. We don't, we rarely have crossover between our two locations, even though we're across the street from each other. We have two very, very different price points and two very, very different brides. So our off the rack bride, our brand there is a little hot mess. It's just a little bit everywhere. You can come in as a hot mess because we're probably like that too. Very girly pop, pink energy. But all of our gowns there are about 2,000 and under. And then our made to order store only has two completely private fitting rooms. All of our gowns there are made in Canada, but the price point starts at about 3,000 and goes up to about 7.
And then it's stuff that's very customized for them.
Yes, they're fully customizable
And
gowns.
you run the marketing and strategy for both?
Yeah.
You
The
go,
best part.
Abby. I love it. And you create content yourself?
Yes. So I have a content manager who keeps me on track. So I set up the strategy for it, and she does the filming, makes me practice my lip syncs, and edits before I do the approval.
I love it. Okay, so what does a week look like in your life this week? Like a week in the life of Abby?
A week in the life of Fabry is right now a lot of behind the scenes staring at my computer, doing back end marketing, reaching out. It's buying season, so looking at what sold the best last year and what I want to bring in for 2027. That's probably about half my week is me on my computer staring. And then I love to kind of go between the two stores, check on the girls, fill in any shifts that need to be filled in. I love to do a little micromanage, to see what everyone's up to. And then on Saturdays, I'm always in taking
And
rides.
what do you feel like is the hardest part of the business that you were surprised about?
Oh my gosh. I unfortunately have the belief that if I can watch YouTube on it, I can do it. Like I really have too much self confidence, and learning that maybe I shouldn't, not just can't, I probably can do everything, but I shouldn't. Like
Mm.
I wish I had taken an accountant earlier, or a cleaning service, things like that. Just because I can doesn't mean I should.
Okay. I was going to say, where do you think that came from? I mean, I do think that that's a huge element of success for entrepreneurs is this faith that anything's possible and why not me, right?
Mhm.
So I love that about you. I actually do think that's a lot of how your success is, how it is today, because it's kind of like ignore the risk and just focus on what could be possible. But where do you think that came from?
I honestly don't know. It's honestly since I was a child. I was always a very confident child. I actually ran into an old elementary school teacher of mine who follows me on Facebook, and he said, "I, I just knew you were destined to be a boss someday." I said, "Was that because I was bossy?" And he was quiet. So yes, I think I was just destined to. I really enjoy working for myself, and I love.
Are your parents entrepreneurs? Like, did they?
Yeah,
They are.
they're real estate agents, so they
And
owe.
so
Yeah.
they've always been go-getters too.
And I grew up with most of them. Like they maybe like when I was very young, my dad, was working 14-hour days, and so I thought that was normal. But I'm also very happy that I grew up with that. I grew up with hustlers. I grew up with surrounded by people who were better for themselves and who were growing for themselves and not for anyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did they produce more than just one entrepreneur in the family?
Nope, it's just me. And then, well, my sister is, I'm going to call her entrepreneur sidekick. Yeah,
Okay. Like she's like, you can have all the risk, but I'll believe in the dream and come alongside.
100%. And she's the best. She compliments me so well. She goes, Abby loves to get a project done 75%, and then I finish the 25.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that
like
gives me over
that.
the edge always.
I like that. Okay. And does she have kids or is she
No,
also more capacity and time and
she has capacity and time. She just bought a house next to me, so we get to spend. It's the best. We get to spend every day together, and she is my better half. Like my husband, yeah, he's great, but she is truly my soul partner.
no,
Yeah.
I love that story and how cool that you even want to live by each other. That's very special and unique.
Mhm.
So, okay. And then what do you feel like when you look at the next 20 years? I mean, it's already changed since 2020 when you started. So
Mhm.
much has changed, especially with AI. And I mean, there's a lot in our world today that is different than when you started your business. What do you anticipate in the years to come that you're like, I'm excited about this, I'm preparing for this? Like, is there anything that kind of gets you excited about what's ahead? Because you are on the early onset and have a lot of years ahead of you, Abby. You're going to be one of the
Yes.
bright, shining stars in the industry. So I'm just kind of like, what do you see for yourself?
I honestly, this was the first year I was like, I love where we're at. Like, I love having our two locations. I love our stores. In a absolutely perfect world, we'll move into one building down the road so we can have all of our companies together. That's the dream. But I don't know. I'm seeing this real shift of brides and clients wanting to get back to that connection. They're over, like, there's always going to be shopping online. AI is just going to keep growing. But I do find a shift of wanting to connect again, which is really nice because, as you've taught me, people buy from people. And I love that, we've built stores that people know our names when they come in. They know our stories. And I think I'm excited to just keep sharing that with more brides and keep, inviting them in and making them feel connected, like they're part of something and that they have someone to hold their hand through the entire wedding process. So I just see us growing more and extending more. I say like extending our family more, meaning having a bigger team, me being able to stay behind my computer more. um, yeah, I'm really excited for what's ahead. And I do think that, like, there's a good shift in the industry coming.
Have you, talking about that whole people buy from people concept, have you changed your approach as far as even your marketing strategy to be a little bit more forward facing since we've met?
Yes, to be fair, I have always been pretty much everyone knows everything about my life.
I love that.
It's been very much my face is attached to the brands, and the brands are an extension of my being. So
Yes,
I've always
we
quite
are.
been in the front of the camera, but I didn't realize until kind of we were talking of how actually important that was. I recently had a bride come in. She goes, "Oh my God, you're Abby." I was like, "I think, I think so." She goes, "Do I get you today?" I said, "Yeah, I'm so excited." She goes, "This is the best day ever." I was like, "Well, that's it. I can retire right now. That's gonna be the highlight of my entire career. Thank you."
Oh, that is awesome. So, are you showing up on your store brand and also like a personal platform?
Yes. So that is kind of what we've been working towards in 2026. We show up every day on our both of our store brands, but my sister and I have started kind of doing our personal branding together, and we called it Sisters Who Knew because we have always knew I needed and never knew I needed. So we're trying. She's getting married in 2027, so we're kind of trying to take our brides and our followers through that process.
I love that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what's the Instagram handle for the sisters one?
Sisters Who Knew.
I love that. And then the just for people that are listening that want to follow along your companies, what are the Instagram handles for your two companies?
Always knew I needed and never knew I needed shop.
I love that. How did you come up with that name?
Never knew I needed came into it was in 2019, which it's the ending song in Princess and the Frog. I think I watched that movie while I was trying to think of names and it came to me. And then I got married many years ago when wedding hashtags were still really big. And
Yeah.
that wedding hashtag was always new to play off the bridal shop name. And so when we opened our new location, I said, I think we're just going to stick with that.
So it's always knew I needed and never knew I needed. I
Yeah.
think that's so clever. I mean,
Thank
there's so
you.
much, like my whole marketing brain is going to like several playoffs of that, of like what you
Yeah,
could do with that.
exactly. Yeah. So it lets us have different iterations, but it also, we always say to the brides who do want, like choosing to shop between the two stores, it's the same experience, the same, familial touch you'll get at each one. And they make it feel really connected to each other.
Yeah. And so do you not have a single personal Instagram? You only have the sister one?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And so do you guys share time on it or do
We
you
do. We
like
do.
do
Yes.
you present yourself sometimes and she presents herself or are you together sometimes?
A little bit of A, a little bit of B, depending where each of us is at. It's usually stories are usually a walkthrough of each of our days, and they're very different. My sister's up at like, I don't know, 5 a.m. doing her workout and being productive, and I'm like crawling out of bed and behind my computer. So you can kind of see both of our lives and the difference when we do get together.
I love that. I think that is so awesome. Okay, and I was just gonna say, did you have any sort of hacks as you were building your brand that you're like, oh man, if I wish I would have known now, looking back, like some people have used family members for build outs, or
Mhm.
they, got in with some friend in town that spread the word like wildfire. Like anything that you look back and you're like, man, I wish I would have thought about or wish I would have known.
I wish I would have known the power of word of mouth, especially in this industry. I wish I would have taken more time to go to more vendor events, um, create a referral program for our brides. Like, I didn't realize how often brides talk to other brides and how often that is your main source of revenue is people telling people about the other stores or reviews. I kind of underestimated that side of the marketing, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, brides do talk to other brides like crazy, especially now, I think on Facebook groups. Like that
Yes, I
is
didn't realize the power of another bride's testimonial.
so what are you doing now to capitalize on that?
Oh gosh, we make sure everyone's leaving a Google review, number one.
Yeah.
um, and we have a referral program. Just we send a little thank yous, little coffees on us to the brides who do refer their friends. And I am being brave and networking and going to all the networking events and doing more style shoots and reaching out to more vendors to make sure we're top of mind for them.
Okay, I love that so much. And it is work and effort, but it does contribute to your success. I mean, it just starts to bring people through the door, which is, um, you know, kind of a little bit of some people want the easy fix where they just want to pay more for meta ads, or how can I just make this problem go away to get more brides in the door? But I'm like, it really is a grassroots, who you know, and how are you collaborating with your local industry, and those friendships do matter, and they send brides your way, whether it's another bride or a vendor. And I love that you're locally from the town that you're serving. I think there is a lot of, I don't know, value to kind of serving in the community that you live. And that's who I like to serve inside a boss. I mean, I'm not wanting to serve the franchise or big chain. I'm wanting to serve the locally owned bridal shop owner where she lives in the community she serves. And that's honestly my strategy. It's like these are the people I know, and I'm choosing to live alongside and take care of their people too. So I mean, I can only imagine what's ahead in Ottawa for you, and the growth that's, I mean, look at how beautiful your store is right now. If people watch this instead of listen, it's gorgeous. And so what are you most excited about as we wrap up? What are you thinking, your next 30 years look like, Abby?
Oh, I'm excited, honestly, to just keep growing and just keep improving a little bit every day. I think there's so much that, we can do not only as a store, but to help our community out and, help shopping local. That's what I'm most excited about, is to bring back that connection piece, bring back visiting your local stores with, exactly like you said, your local girls, shopping locally made. I'm excited to bring all of that back because I do think that is kind of the future and where we're all going.
Yeah. There's only a few experiences that you can still save, and savor. And I hope for our daughters and their daughters and for generations to come that wedding dress shopping is still some of those special experiences that people still savor and want to have, and not do the online thing,
My favorite thing to say, it's kind of my mantra at the beginning of a busy Saturday, is to remind our staff that this is our everyday, but this is their once in a lifetime. So this is just because, weddings are everything we do. They're doing this once, most likely. This is their once a chance. They know nothing. They're coming in knowing nothing. We are here to provide a special experience because this is a special time for them.
I love that. Any other advice? Little Miss Wisdom?
It's all from you.
No. Any other advice you have for bridal shop owners that it's just something that's kept you going or stayed positive?
Just that it's all going to be okay in the end. We're sewing dresses, not hearts. There's no body on the table. It can feel like the end of the world. It can feel like a very stressful job, but at the very end of the day, it's a happy job. The people who walk through our doors are happy, and we get to bring joy and love and life into everyone we see, and that makes it worth it. And the finances and the stress and the alterations, they are come and go problems, but at the end of the day, I think we're very lucky to have a happy job, and as long as you can kind of keep pieces of that joy, then it's going to work out. Everything will work out.
Yeah. I am so pumped about your future, and I'm so glad that our lives intersected and when they did, and all that's ahead for you. Definitely follow along if you're listening to Abby's story. Follow along her journey and her sister and her shops, because they are really doing some great work there in Canada, and I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. Thanks for being on the show today, and we'll talk soon. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Bridal Owner Success Stories. I hope you found some inspiration and encouragement for your own career in the bridal industry. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We are in this together.